Hello, this is Charles Crow representing the Starbucks Public Relations Group. As you know, we are expanding our business overseas, and so because of that, there are some different ideologies and cultural boundaries that we are going to come across. So we want to go ahead and nail those down so that we can have a successful business venture overseas. As you guys know, we're going to start in China. And China has a very different culture from what we do. So we're going to get into this. China has a very different ideology about them than we do. They are much more collectivistic culture than we are, and where we kind of preach being individualistic and every man for himself almost. They are more for the greater good of everybody. So from this stems a lot of different ways that they communicate and ways that they operate their business. So the purpose of this presentation is to kind of familiarize you guys with how to speak with them, how they speak, what kind of nonverbal cues to pay attention to, so that we can build effective business relationships. Because they do not do business with somebody that they're not familiar with and that they do not trust. That is very important to them. There's a lot of profit to be made there, and so we want to focus on these relationships. So, communicating effectively, they normally like to have small talk, really in any part of their meeting. They always start with small talk, and as with any culture, there's some topics to avoid. Any kind of war with China is something you do not want to talk about. You do not want to talk about politics. But they are very proud of their country, and they have a very rich history. There's a lot to talk about there. So go ahead and familiarize yourself with their country and their history, and so that you can talk to them about that, because I'm sure that they'll want to talk about that. Be prepared for some questions regarding your marital status, what kind of job you hold, things like that. They're trying to gauge your social status, as this is very important to them. So just be ready for any of those kind of questions. It's not rude. That's very important to them. So as for social life, they have a lot of different activities that they like to do. Really depending on how much money you have, how much money you make, really dictates what you're going to do. Rich people like to, on their days off, they like to go to the coast and maybe visit old war vessels out there and just do activities out there on the coast. People with less money tend to, not spend all the money and go over to different parts of the country. But they still, on their days off, they don't like to stay indoors. They don't like to stay in their house. They like to go outside and do things at the parks, at the gyms, and they like to spend time with other people, just basically not in their house. They really enjoy clubbing just as much as the next American. So for nightlife, that's something to keep in mind. They're a very active group of people. They normally exercise every day. I read about a lady who every morning she would wake up and walk down to the park and do her yoga with just a big group of people, and they would all sing their songs while they did it, and that was her morning routine. They like to play ping pong and badminton at the gym, and so that's another way if you're trying to kind of break the ice in a business relationship. That's a way to go about it, and so because that really relaxes them, kind of puts them in their own element. Cuisine. So be prepared to eat some new things. The actual authentic Chinese food is very different from a westernized Chinese food. Whereas we have, we'll have rice and noodles, but a meat-based dish, they like to use vegetables as their kind of centerpiece. And their proteins are much different than ours. Where we like to use, chicken and pork and beef, they like to use things like chicken feet and duck blood and tofu. So that's not something you see every day in America. So you have to be ready for that. And be prepared to just eat some new things. The food's very good. They use lots of different cooking techniques and procedures to make it differently, and it's very diverse. But it's, like I said, very different from what we eat. So basically, in conclusion, just be ready to deal with the different values and customs that come along with the Chinese traditions. Be ready to communicate and do some things that you might not normally do. Because, like I said, developing these personal relationships is very important. If we do not do this, we are not going to have successful business over there. This is very important for us to meet these people and to get to know them so then that we can sell our products to them. So, like I said, this is Charles Crowell. Appreciate you guys watching.